Ever feel like you're stuck? In a market where everyone's fighting for the same scraps, the same customers, it's brutal out there.
Absolutely. It's a real bloodbath.
It can be.
Yeah.
So that's what we're ditching today. We're going deep, really deep into this thing called blue ocean strategy.
All right.
It's this whole idea of creating a brand new market instead of slugging it out, in those bloody red oceans, as they call them.
Right.
So, our goal today is to figure out how to actually build something successful.
Yeah.
Maybe that venture you've been dreaming of.
For sure.
By finding or even creating your own space where you're not constantly battling everyone else.
I love it. I love it. And we've actually, we've gone through a ton of research, ton of material.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, really fascinating stuff about how to break free from that constant grind, of competition.
Yeah.
And today we're going to boil it down to, I think, seven key principles of blue ocean strategy.
7, okay.
Think of it as your, express lane.
Cheat sheet.
Yeah, cheat sheet, express lane to really grasping this powerful framework.
I like it.
So we're going to be looking at, let's see, we got the power of uncontested market space, the essential blue ocean tools, the 6 paths.
6 paths, what?
Yeah, 6 distinct paths to actually finding these new spaces, using something called the strategy canvas to actually visualize, what your blue ocean could look like.
Oh, I like that, visualizing, yeah.
Then the crucial step of reaching beyond those customers you already have.
Right.
The right way to sequence your strategy, to roll it out.
Oh, the order, yeah.
The order, exactly. And then finally, how to align everything to make sure you've got long-term success.
All right, so where do we even start with this whole blue ocean thing?
Well, I think the best place to start is with that core difference between, the red oceans and the blue oceans.
Okay, yeah, paint me a picture.
All right, so imagine, literally, you've got this red ocean, right? It is just packed. You've seen it, right? It's packed with competitors. Everyone's going after the same customers.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're just, fighting over them based on price. Lowest price wins.
The race to the bottom.
Race to the bottom. It's brutal.
Yeah, it's a tough environment.
It is tough. It's a tough environment.
It is.
But now imagine this, right? You've got this vast blue ocean.
Okay.
And it is wide open. It is pristine. It is untouched.
Just calm, peaceful.
Calm, peaceful, tons of opportunity, no one's fighting, no rivals in sight.
That sounds lovely.
That's the blue ocean.
So that's what we're aiming for, right? Yep. That blue ocean.
That's the goal. That's the ideal.
That's the dream.
Yeah. And what's really amazing about that blue ocean for someone like you or anyone listening is that you totally sidestep that cutthroat competition.
Okay, yeah. So you're not just reacting all the time.
Exactly. You're not just reacting. You're not constantly looking over your shoulder.
Right. Yeah. What's so-and-so doing?
Yeah. What's the competitor doing? You can focus your energy on actually coming up with something new, something innovative.
Yeah. That's the exciting part, right? Creating something.
Creating something new, something that delivers real value.
And that's what leads to new demand, right?
Yes.
You're not just taking a piece of what's already there.
Right.
You're growing the whole pie.
Exactly. You're not just fighting over that existing customer base.
Yeah.
You're creating something that people didn't even know they needed.
Right. Creating a need.
Yeah, creating a desire that they didn't even realize they had.
So what's the payoff for all this? Creating the blue ocean.
The payoff is huge.
Okay.
You get significant growth, and crucially, it's profitable growth.
Oh, profitable. Okay, that's important.
You're not just growing for the sake of growing. When you're in your own space with strong demand, you don't have to get into these crazy price wars.
You're not racing to the bottom.
No more race to the bottom.
Right. Yeah.
Your margins, your profit margins can be much stronger.
Yeah.
And your growth trajectory can be seriously impressive.
Okay, so that's the blue ocean. Now let's get real for a second.
Right.
What happens if we stay stuck in those red oceans?
It's not pretty.
Okay.
It is an uphill battle constantly.
Yeah.
Your strategies end up being reactive.
Yeah, you're always playing catch up.
Always playing catch up.
Yeah.
Just trying to keep up with or outmaneuver the competition.
And your growth is limited, right?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
You're fighting over a limited pool of customers.
Right. You're all fighting for the same slice of the pie.
Exactly. And even if you manage to, get a slightly bigger slice, the pie itself isn't growing that much.
Right. Yeah. You're not expanding the market.
Exactly.
And probably the hardest part is that constant pressure on your margins.
Oh, tell me about it.
When everyone's competing on price.
It's a race to the bottom.
Yeah. And That just eats away at your profit, right?
Absolutely. It makes it so much harder to invest in the very things that could help you escape that red ocean.
Like innovation.
Exactly. Innovation.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about some companies, some U.S. companies.
Okay.
Who actually, who figured out this blue ocean thing.
All right. All right.
Like who successfully navigated to those calmer waters.
So one of the classic examples is Southwest Airlines.
Okay. Southwest. Yeah.
They didn't try to be another United or American.
Right. Yeah. They didn't try to play that same game.
They saw their competition as not just other airlines.
Oh, interesting.
But drivers.
Drivers. Okay.
Yeah. People driving their cars.
So they weren't competing with other airlines. They were competing with cars.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they said, we're going to offer something completely different.
Right.
Speed, low fares.
So for people who wouldn't normally fly?
Exactly. For short trips, where it might make more sense to drive.
Oh, okay. So they were targeting a whole new group of people.
A whole new segment, people who valued their time, but also, didn't want to break the bank.
That's clever.
It was brilliant.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, the traditional airlines, they didn't even get it at first.
They didn't see it coming.
They didn't see it coming.
Wow.
They were so focused on their hubs and spokes, their systems.
Yeah, they're business travelers.
Business travelers, all the fancy amenities.
Right.
They were completely blind to this whole new market that Southwest was creating.
So they stayed in the red ocean.
They were stuck fighting over the same customers.
Wow. So Southwest basically snuck in and created their own space.
Exactly. They redefined the rules of the game.
Okay. What else? What other examples are there?
All right. How about Cirque du Soleil?
Cirque du Soleil. Okay. Yeah.
Now, they weren't trying to be a better Ringling Bros,
Right. They weren't a traditional circus.
Not at all. They said, we're going to blend the circus arts with theater.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. So like a higher brow kind of circus.
Exactly. A sophisticated, entertainment experience.
Okay.
And they attracted a whole different audience.
I felt that bad.
Adults, who were willing to pay a premium for something unique.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And what did the traditional circuses do?
What did they do?
They stuck with their animal acts.
Oh, the elephants, the tigers.
The clowns, the whole shebang.
Yeah, yeah.
They missed this fundamental shift.
They didn't adapt.
They didn't adapt. They stayed in the red ocean.
While Cirque du Soleil was off doing their own thing.
Cirque du Soleil was creating a new category and making a killing.
Okay. So another one. All
right, you're going to love this one. Yellowtail wine.
Yellowtail.
So here you have this super crowded U.S. wine market.
Right. So many brands.
Tons of brands. And they didn't try to compete on, complexity or how old the wine was or prestige. Yeah.
They had this incredible insight. They said, we're going to make wine a social drink.
Oh, interesting.
Something everyone can enjoy.
But in people who don't normally drink wine.
Exactly.
Okay.
They made it fun. They made it easy to choose.
Yeah. No more intimidating wine lists.
Exactly. None of that snobbery.
Okay. I like it.
And the rest, as they say, is history.
So Yellowtail basically said, forget the traditional wine market. We're going after a whole new audience.
Exactly. They found their blue ocean.
Okay. So what's the big lesson here? What can we learn from these companies?
The big lesson is you got to shift your perspective.
Okay.
Stop worrying about beating the competition.
Right. Not the red ocean.
Not the red ocean.
Yeah.
Think about creating something new.
Something completely different.
Yeah, something that offers a huge leap in value for a whole new set of customers.
So create your own market.
Exactly. Make the competition irrelevant.
So how do we actually find these blue oceans? Like, how do we get there? That's where the tools come in.
Tools.
Yeah, you need the right tools to navigate these uncharted waters.
Like a compass and a map.
Exactly.
Okay, so blue ocean strategy, it's not just about being creative.
Right.
It's about having a system.
It's systematic. It's analytical.
Okay.
You need frameworks and tools to guide your strategy.
So what are the benefits of using these tools?
Well, for one, it helps you minimize risk.
Okay, risk is bad.
Risk is definitely bad.
Yeah.
Instead of just going with your gut, you're analyzing the market, you're thinking about your value proposition.
So you're making informed decisions.
Exactly, informed decisions.
So you're not just throwing darts in the dark.
Exactly.
And these tools, they don't just give you ideas.
Right.
They help you actually put those ideas into action.
They bridge the gap between, having a great vision and actually being able to execute it.
Okay, so what happens if we try to do this without the tools?
Well, you're basically flying blind.
Yeah, that sounds scary.
It is. You're relying on luck.
Fingers crossed.
Hoping to stumble onto something that works.
Yeah, that's not a good strategy.
It's not a strategy at all.
Okay, so can you give me an example of how these tools could have been used or were used by U.S. companies?
Sure, let's think about the U.S. wine industry before Yellowtail came along.
Okay, so pre-Yellowtail.
Exactly.
No. Okay.
They could have really benefited from this thing called the strategy canvas.
Strategy canvas, okay.
It's basically a visual snapshot of the competitive landscape.
So you can see what everyone's doing.
Exactly. And it would have shown them that everyone was focused on the same things.
Like what?
Price, image, how complex the wine was.
So everyone was playing the same game.
The same game in the same red ocean.
And Yellowtail came in and did something different.
They did.
Right.
They use a tool called the 4 actions framework.
4 actions, okay.
It's brilliant. It makes you ask 4 questions about every part of your industry.
Well, okay, I like this.
So first they asked, what can we eliminate?
Eliminate.
What are people doing that we don't need to do?
Okay.
For Yellowtail, they got rid of all that fancy wine terminology.
Yeah, no more talking about tannins and legs and all that stuff.
Exactly. Who needs it?
Right.
They also ditched the focus on medals and awards.
Okay.
And they didn't worry about aging the wine for years.
So they simplified things.
They simplified everything.
Okay, what's the second question?
Second question is, what can we reduce?
Reduce. Okay.
What can we do less of?
Okay.
For Yellowtail, they reduced the complexity of the wine itself.
Okay.
And they downplayed the whole vineyard prestige thing.
So less about the fancy vineyard.
Exactly. Less about the snobby stuff.
Okay, what's the third question?
Third question is, what can we raise?
Raise, okay.
What can we do more of?
Okay.
Yellowtail raised the ease of drinking.
So it's easy to drink.
Easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
Okay.
They made the brand fun and approachable.
Okay, I like that.
And the final question is, what can we create?
Create, so something completely new?
Something totally new.
Okay.
Yellowtail created this idea of a social drink for everyone.
So they weren't just selling wine. They were selling a whole experience.
Exactly. They were selling fun. They were selling inclusivity.
Okay, so they used this 4 actions framework
Brilliantly.
to create their blue ocean.
Exactly.
Okay, what other examples do we have?
Okay, think about Home Depot.
Home Depot, all right.
Now, they probably didn't sit down and use these tools explicitly,
Okay.
but they intuitively followed another blue ocean principle, looking across alternatives.
Looking across alternatives, what does that mean?
It means they looked at the existing options.
Okay.
So on the one hand, you had traditional hardware stores.
Okay, yeah.
And on the other hand, you had professional contractors.
Right. 2 very different things.
Very different.
Yeah.
And they asked themselves, what if we could combine the best of both worlds?
Okay, so like a hybrid.
A hybrid, exactly.
Okay, I'm listening.
They wanted the wide selection of a hardware store, but with some of the expert advice you'd get from a contractor.
Yeah, okay.
And all of that at prices that regular homeowners could afford.
So they were targeting people who might have hired a contractor.
Exactly.
Or people who were struggling to do it themselves.
Exactly.
Okay, so they basically redefined the DIY market.
They did. They reconstructed the boundaries of the market.
And they created a blue ocean.
And they created a blue ocean.
Okay, now let's talk about mistakes.
All right.
What are some mistakes that companies made by not using these tools?
Well, let's go back to the wine industry.
Okay.
Most wineries, they just kept tweaking their existing wines.
So they were making small changes.
Tiny changes, nothing radical.
Yeah.
They could have used the strategy canvas to see how similar they all were.
Right, they were all stuck in that red ocean.
Stuck in the red ocean.
Okay.
Now think about the big beverage companies.
Okay.
They completely missed the Yellowtail phenomenon.
They didn't see it coming.
They didn't see it coming.
Wow.
They didn't have the tools to think about how to appeal to a wider audience.
Right. They didn't have the 4 actions framework.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay. Let's look at the DIY market again.
Okay.
The traditional hardware stores and the individual contractors, they didn't really capture that growing DIY segment.
So they missed out.
They missed out.
Wow.
The hardware stores might not have had the right guidance for DIYers.
Okay, so people felt lost.
Lost and intimidated.
Yeah.
And the contractors, they were just too expensive for a lot of people.
Right.
Home Depot offered the perfect solution.
They found that sweet spot.
Exactly.
Okay, so the key takeaway here is to use the tools.
Use the tools.
Yeah.
Start with the strategy canvas to visualize your competition.
Okay.
And then use the 4 actions framework to find those blue ocean opportunities.
So have a plan. Don't just wing it.
Don't wing it. Have a system.
Okay, that makes sense.
And speaking of having a system,
That leads us to our next point. The 6 paths to uncontested market space. Go. 6 paths. Okay, I'm intrigued.
Now, we've talked about tools, right?
Right, the compass and the map.
But we still need to know where to go.
Okay.
So Blue Ocean Strategy gives us 6 specific paths to discover these blue oceans.
Okay, so these paths are like directions on the map.
Exactly.
Okay, I like it.
And they're all about challenging assumptions.
Assumptions about what?
About your industry, about how things are done.
Okay.
You got to look beyond the traditional boundaries.
So we're thinking outside the box.
Way outside the box.
Okay.
Think of these paths as 6 different lenses.
Lenses, okay.
Yeah, 6 different ways to look at your market.
Okay.
And see opportunities that you would normally miss.
All right, so these 6 paths help us find new possibilities.
Exactly.
Okay, what are the benefits of using these paths?
Well, they give you a structured way to look beyond your direct competitors.
Okay, so we're not just focused on who we're currently competing with.
Exactly, and you're also looking beyond your existing customers.
So we're thinking about new markets, new customers.
New markets, new possibilities.
Okay, I like it.
They really force you to think creatively.
So it's not just about incremental improvements.
Right, it's about finding something completely new.
Okay, so these paths help us find those big disruptive ideas.
Exactly, those blue ocean ideas.
All right, so the 6 paths help us find blue oceans.
Exactly.
What are the consequences of not using them?
Well, you might end up stuck in the land of incremental improvements.
Okay, so we're just making small changes.
Small changes, nothing groundbreaking.
Yeah.
And you're much more likely to be blindsided by disruption.
So someone else comes in and creates the blue ocean.
Exactly, and you're left wondering what happened.
Okay, so we need to be proactive.
Absolutely. We need to be looking for those opportunities.
Okay, can you give me some examples of companies that have used these different paths?
Sure. Remember Southwest Airlines?
Yeah, the airline that competes with cars.
Exactly. They used Path 1, look across alternative industries.
So they didn't just look at other airlines.
They looked at driving.
Okay, and they found a way to offer a better alternative.
Faster, cheaper, more convenient.
Okay, so Path 1 is about looking at what else your customers could be doing.
Exactly. What are the alternatives to your product or service?
Okay, what about Path 3?
Path 3 is look across buyer groups.
Buyer groups, okay.
Now, Bloomberg is a great example here.
Bloomberg, the financial data company.
Yeah, they didn't just sell their data to the IT departments.
Right, they didn't just focus on the people who got the software.
They went directly to the end users.
So the traders and analysts.
Exactly, the people who actually used the data.
And they tailored their offering to their needs.
They did. They understood what those users really wanted.
Okay, so Path 3 is about looking at different groups of customers.
Exactly. Who are the different people who might benefit from your product or service?
Okay, what about Path 5?
Path 5 is a fascinating one.
Okay.
It's look across functional or emotional appeal.
Okay, so it's about how we appeal to customers.
Exactly.
Okay.
Think about Swatch, the watch company. They shifted the focus from just telling time.
Right. Watches used to be just functional.
Purely functional.
Yeah.
Swatch made watches fashionable.
So they added an emotional appeal?
Exactly. They made watches a fashion statement.
Okay, so Path 5 is about thinking about how we can appeal to customers on a different level.
Exactly. Are we focusing too much on function?
Okay.
Can we add an emotional element?
So we've talked about some good examples.
We have.
What about some companies that missed the boat?
All right. Well, those traditional airlines, they ignored the price-sensitive travelers.
Right. They were too focused on their business class customers.
Exactly. They didn't see the value in offering a cheaper alternative.
Okay.
And the financial data providers, they might have missed out by not understanding the needs of the actual users.
So they were selling to the wrong people.
They were selling to the IT department, not the traders.
Okay, so they need to look across those buyer groups.
Exactly.
All right, so the key takeaway here is to explore each of these 6 paths.
Explore every path. Look across industries, strategic groups, buyer groups,
Okay.
complementary offerings, functional appeal, emotional appeal,
Okay.
and think about how things change over time.
So look at the trends.
Exactly. Look at the trends.
Okay, so the 6 paths give us a systematic way to find blue oceans.
Exactly. It's a framework for exploration.
Okay, that makes sense.
Now, speaking of frameworks,
That brings us to our next point. The strategy canvas.
you got it.
Okay, so we've talked about tools, we've talked about paths.
We have
Now we're talking about the strategy canvas.
the strategy canvas.
Okay, what is that?
Imagine you're trying to give someone directions without a map.
Okay, that would be difficult.
Very difficult.
Yeah.
You could describe landmarks, but you wouldn't have the big picture.
Right, you wouldn't see the whole route.
Exactly.
Okay.
The strategy canvas is like a map for your industry.
Okay, so it helps us see the competitive landscape.
Exactly.
Okay, tell me more.
It's basically a line graph.
Okay.
You plot all the key factors that your industry competes on.
Okay, so like price, quality, features.
Exactly, all those things.
Okay.
And then you plot the level of offering for each player.
So you can see where everyone stands.
You see the whole picture, you see where you are, you see where your competitors are.
Okay, so the strategy canvas helps us see the big picture.
Exactly.
Okay, what are the benefits of using this canvas?
Well, it shows you where everyone is investing their resources.
Okay.
You can see where the competition is concentrated.
So you can see the red oceans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And more importantly, you can see the potential blue oceans.
The areas where no one's playing.
The empty spaces on the map.
Okay, I like that.
The strategy canvas helps you find those spaces.
Okay, so the strategy canvas helps us see the red oceans and the blue oceans.
Exactly.
Okay, what happens if we don't use the strategy canvas?
You might end up with a blurry strategy.
Okay, so we're not clear on where we're going.
No clear direction.
Yeah.
And it's hard to stand out from the crowd.
Right, because we're not seeing the big picture.
Exactly. You might just end up copying the competition.
So we blend into the red ocean.
Exactly.
Okay, so the strategy canvas helps us be different.
It helps you be strategic.
Okay, can you give me some examples of how this canvas could have been used?
Sure. Let's go back to Southwest Airlines.
Okay, Southwest again.
Now, their strategy canvas would show a very distinct curve.
Okay, what would it look like?
High on speed, high on point-to-point service.
Okay, so they're focused on getting you there quickly.
Exactly. No messing around.
Okay.
But low on traditional airline amenities.
No meals, no assigned seats.
Exactly. They stripped away all the extras.
So they were offering a completely different kind of value.
They were, and their canvas would show that very clearly.
Okay. What about Cirque du Soleil?
Cirque du Soleil, their canvas would be high on theatrical elements.
Okay, so they're more like a show.
More like a show, exactly.
Yeah.
High on artistry, high on creating a unique atmosphere.
Oh.
But low on traditional circus elements.
No animals, no clowns.
Exactly. They redefined what a circus could be.
Okay, what about Yellowtail?
Yellowtail, their canvas would be high on ease of selection.
Okay, so it's easy to choose.
Easy to choose, fun, approachable.
Okay.
But low on complexity, low on prestige.
So they're going after a different kind of wine drinker.
Exactly. They weren't trying to impress the wine snobs.
Okay, so their strategy canvas would show that they were targeting a different market.
Exactly.
Now, what about the companies that didn't use the strategy canvas?
Well, those traditional airlines, they might have looked at Southwest and just thought, oh, they're just a budget airline.
Okay, so they missed the bigger picture.
They missed the whole point.
Right, they didn't see the different value proposition.
Exactly. They were still stuck in the red ocean mindset.
Okay.
And the traditional circuses, they kept benchmarking themselves against other circuses.
So they were comparing themselves to the wrong companies.
Exactly. They didn't see that.
Ever feel like you're stuck? You know, in a market where everyone's fighting for the same scraps, the same customers, it's brutal out there.
Absolutely. It's a real bloodbath.
It can be.
Yeah.
So that's what we're ditching today. We're going deep, really deep into this thing called blue ocean strategy.
All right.
It's this whole idea of creating a brand new market instead of slugging it out, you know, in those bloody red oceans, as they call them.
Right.
So, like, our goal today is to figure out how to actually build something successful.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that venture you've been dreaming of.
For sure.
By finding or even creating your own space where you're not constantly battling everyone else.
I love it. I love it. And, you know, we've actually, we've gone through a ton of research, ton of material.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, really fascinating stuff about how to break free from that constant grind, you know, of competition.
Yeah.
And today we're going to boil it down to, I think, seven key principles of blue ocean strategy.
7, okay.
Think of it as your, like, you know, express lane.
Cheat sheet.
Yeah, cheat sheet, express lane to really grasping this powerful framework.
I like it.
So we're going to be looking at, let's see, we got the power of uncontested market space, the essential blue ocean tools, the 6 paths.
6 paths, what?
Yeah, 6 distinct paths to actually finding these new spaces, using something called the strategy canvas to actually visualize, you know, what your blue ocean could look like.
Oh, I like that, visualizing, yeah.
Then the crucial step of reaching beyond those customers you already have.
Right.
The right way to sequence your strategy, to roll it out.
Oh, the order, yeah.
The order, exactly.